What's good, guys? Welcome back to another video. First of all, wishing all of you guys a happy new year. I know it's not the new year yet, but it's been a fun year. And I think this year we've really demonstrated that with a very simple system, as long as you're able to stick to it very consistently, you can be very profitable. This is evident from the amount of money that I've made. Everyone who's been following me on the channel ever since the early days. And one thing's for sure, this channel would not be where it's at without you guys. And I'm really happy every time when I read your comments and knowing that, I've made a positive impact in your life. And just to let you guys know, I don't take this for granted, which is why I show up every day trying to deliver my best as much as possible. But yeah, just a quick shout out to you guys. It's been a good 2025 and I'm really happy to see all of you sticking with me through thick and thin. And let's make next year even better. I'm going to make you guys even more money. And one thing's for sure, the content game is going to be stepping up next year. But otherwise, let's get into the intraday setup for Bitcoin. Now, kicking things off, just going to mention briefly, we have about 14 hours left before the yearly close. So far, it's not looking very possible that we are going to end the year on a bullish note. It's not the end of the world though. Just because it closes bearish doesn't mean that, you're going to just spend the next year dumping. Most likely, you're just going to spend the next year targeting the previous yearly low. Once that's taken out, once you've filled in the fair gap, there is still room to go up. So it's not the end of the world if you close bearish, okay? Now, secondly, let's go back into the daily chart. So far, we have a bullish daily candle close, which means technically we should be looking for a long today. And that's clearly what's happening on the charts right now. Now, yesterday, the short didn't end up really panning out. There was nothing much for me to update prior to the FOMC, because price was just shooting straight up. It's the exact scenario that I kind of told you guys, if price just keeps shooting up, then yeah, it's just going to end up being a no trade. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Now, some of you may have been able to catch, this move right here and, take advantage of the short. But truthfully, it just was outside of trading hours for me, especially because I live in Asia. So this time around, I'm usually sleeping. So that's no big deal. But anyways, today we have news as well at 8:30 a.m. So it still makes this a valid trading day. And let me just remove everything on the chart so that we have a clean slate to work with. At the moment, order flow has already shifted bullish in the sense that, you've already had a change in state a little bit over here. And so far, all you need right now is a confirmation above this level right here that confirms, that basically just turns this into an bullish order block. And once this happens, bang, 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 that's going to be the setup. And then, of course, because you have news today at 8:30 a.m., the setup for today is going to be very straightforward. Just in the hour leading up to the news, to the hour after news, you're going to look for this to happen and you're just going to take a long, targeting, just this high right here. But anyways, bullish order flow is already confirmed. Even right now, it's already confirmed. Don't get me wrong, you don't need to wait for this. But if you wait for this, then, at the very least, you'll have a bullish order block to work with. Plus, this video won't be posted until later anyways, so that's that. But besides that, you also have another potential where, price might sweep out all of these relatively equal lows before going towards the upside. And it's seeming like this is going to be the less likely scenario just because of how price action is playing out right now. Obviously, if price just starts dumping from this point onwards, then that is going to be the expectation where you're going to sweep out the lows before you go up. Either way, the time that you're going to want to look for is the hour leading up to the news to the hour after. So far on the 5-minute chart, it's looking pretty clean. Now, ideally, you don't want to see price heading lower because, usually on the day where we have a long side bullish bias, we tend to look for the Asia low to get swept, where this will kind of act as the manipulation, right? The market is tricking everyone into thinking that it's going lower, but in fact, it's just sweeping out liquidity before pumping. Now, if it goes lower, I do expect price to bounce from this point out here, rather than, all the way down to the Asia low, because if you happen to go all the way to the Asia low, this area here is going to end up becoming quite a large area of resistance. However, as long as you are sweeping the lows, and as long as you do not close below, these candle bodies, just to give you an idea, you don't want to see a bearish hourly close below 88,200. If you end up closing below there, that's going to give you the signal where price is going to end up going lower. But so far today is looking, pretty in line with the idea that we mapped out at the start of this week, where, in order for the year to close bullish, something needs to happen today, and just so happens to have news. We have a bullish daily bias, and yeah, fingers crossed. We might see 90,000 again today. We've already gotten rejected from 90,000 quite a few times. There's clearly a lot of sell side resistance over there. But hey, today may be the day that we break through it, at least just to close out the year bullish. But we'll see. Either way, the setup for Bitcoin today is going to be towards the bullish direction. But speaking about setup, you have 3 days remaining before the Blueprint New Year flash sale closes. Just to give you an idea, the next time Blueprint opens, it's not going to be the same price as it is right now because this is still the launch price. And yeah, I've already shown you what's been going on in the community over the last couple of days. Let's just say that people are already getting insane results and making their money and making their investment back into Blueprint within just a couple of weeks of joining. It could be the same for you as well. But still, anyways, let's get back into Ethereum. So far, you have a bullish daily bias, so you're going to look for a long. In terms of the chart on Ethereum, there are 2 possible scenarios. Let me just remove everything. So the first one's going to be a bullish close above this level where you're going to flip that into a potential bullish order block. The second one is going to be a sweep of these relatively lows. You can see that already you have some sort of sweep. The problem is right now this low and this low are quite equal, so you really do want to see price break above this level and close above 29.80 before you start hopping into longs. And again, the timing for today is going to be exactly the same as Bitcoin. Now, if there's one chart that I would still lean towards, it would definitely be Bitcoin. Like, it's just showing a lot more volatility compared to Ethereum at the moment. Ethereum's a bit more of a stable coin at the moment. And, as traders, we make money where there is volatility. And of course, like, we'll go for the more volatile pair whenever possible. Now, in terms of the London session, you've already left behind relatively equal lows right above the Asia low. So in the event that you sweep out the Asia low and then you go up, that will also be likely. But I think this one is going to be the scenario that you're going to want to watch for. At least that looks to me like the higher probability scenario. Now, in terms of Solana, so far you have a bullish daily bias. You're about to get a bullish change in state of delivery as well, especially if you manage to close bullish today. Now, in terms of the yearly chart, it's definitely going to be closing bearish. Like, there's no way you're going to overcome all of this in a single day, but that's no concern as well. It's a bit too far out to be relevant to what we are trying to do here on a intraday basis. Anyways, in terms of the hourly chart, you can see that you've already gotten changes in state of delivery over here, which means that this entire block here is already a bullish order block. So Solana actually is looking like it has much more relative strength compared to Bitcoin. So in the event that you want to prioritize a long and you want to take Solana, like, this will be a good day to do so. Again, exact same setup. You're going to want to look for Solana to retrace into here during the hour leading up to the news, to the hour after news, which is 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. And you're going to want to take a long towards the upside. Today has the potential to be a very volatile day because we have news and it's also the last day of the year. So definitely watch out. Like, anything can happen, and just make sure you stay safe and wait for all of the confirmations before you jump into the charts. But otherwise, guys, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next year, which is tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.